what happened simply was this. My friend had gotten hit, and because of the situation there in Bastogne, there was no place for us to place the wounded because the field hospital had gotten captured. We were surrounded, and there was no place to put the wounded. They had they captured all the beds, the blankets, the equipment, the medicine, and so on. And it was very bad during the siege while we were surrounded, and we couldn't get the wounded out. So they laid them all on the floor of the church and the seminary across the street. And when my friend got hit, I went back to, I was sent on a mission, but I stopped to see him on the way. And he told me it wasn't bad, he was going to get out the next day and so on. And when I said I had to go back, but can I do anything before I leave, he said, yeah, go find me something to drink. And I said, where am I going to find you something to drink? We're surrounded and cut off, there are no supplies. He said, go look in the taverns. Taverns are all bombed. Go look in the taverns anyway, you might get lucky. First tavern I went into, all broken glass. Now, the second tavern, when I yanked on the beer handle, beer came up. And so I took off my helmet, filled it up with beer, ran back to the church. I stepped among the wounded guys laying on the floor there, and then I said, Joe, I got some beer. And he said, oh. And I started pouring beer. Joe, and give me some, and give me some of that, and give me some of that. Yeah. And I ran out. And he said, let's go get some more. I said, Jesus, go get some more. Well, this time when I came back, standing in the doorway of the church is the regimental surgeon. Like this. Major. I'm a PFC, by the way. So what are you doing, soldier? And I said, sir, bringing aid and comfort to the wounded. And he said, you stupid jackass, don't you know I've got chest cases and stomach cases. You give them beer, you'll kill them? Yeah, if I have you shot. I said, yes, sir. And put that helmet on. Beer all over my uniform and so on. And an incident that happened during the war, I ran like hell back to my foxhole and went on with the war. I forgot about it. 65 years later, when I went back to Belgium for the first time to see the battlefields, and I ran into this gentleman, big Dutch paratrooper, and he took me in hand when he heard I was there during the war in Bastogne and that I had fought there and so on. And he said, once he identified my unit, I was H Company 501, he said he could take me out and show me where H Company was down there on both sides of the road. And I was grateful for that. My daughter and I went out with him and Johnny Boner, our tank commander, and he pointed out a series of foxholes. And he said, and that's your foxhole. And I said, Marco, I said, how the hell do you know that was my foxhole? He said, because your company commander, Captain Stanley, when he turned in his after-action reports, he had a diagram with a number placed. You were the only machine gunner in the 3rd platoon, right? Yeah. That's your foxhole. MG, he's got a wrong diagram. And after a few more proofs I needed, I told him that if that was my foxhole, there had to be another one here and one here with 2 riflemen to protect the machine gun nest, and they were there. And then I told him about the stream where I filled up my canteen, and it was there, so that now there's no doubt. That's it. And I sort of fell apart. You know, when you're an old man, you don't have control anymore. My daughter took me aside and said, Marco, you've seen enough. Let's go back to town. On the way back to town, I offered to take them to lunch. And at lunch, I ordered 3 bottles of wine to change the mood. And we did change the mood, and 3 soldiers put them together, and they're all going to start telling stories, and everybody gets loud, and the people are all looking, and we embarrassed my daughter. But Johnny Brunner told us about the Belgian tanks, and Marco told us about his fighting in Kosovo and in Afghanistan. And when it came my turn, I told her the story I just told you, the beer story. And while I'm telling the story, they're going, you? You were the GI who brought the beer to the church? I said, yeah. You were the GI who went to the wounded guys with the beer in the church? I said, yeah. And they said, man, don't you know you're famous in Europe? I said, what are you talking about? They said, wait a minute, bring us 4 bottles of airborne beer. And the waiter comes back with a tray, got 4 bottles of beer on it, and 4 little ceramic bowls in the shape of a GI helmet. And they say airborne on it. And he said, and the label on the bottle of beer shows a paratrooper with a helmet full of beer going like this. He said, nobody thought that was a true story. Emily, in my coat, my wallet's there with a picture. They said a Belgian brewer just heard this as a rumor. They thought it was a myth, and they had no knowledge that it really happened. And he just thought we will, he just thought that we were, telling stories. Well, we were, but they were true. True stories.